these are some of my heroes. This is Theodore Roosevelt, who actually, his house is here in my congressional district over at Sagamore Hill in Oyster Bay.
Okay.
And this is John F. Kennedy, of course.
Yeah.
And this is Mario Cuomo, who used to be the governor of New York. He wrote a letter to me in 1990 encouraging me to go into politics.
Oh, wow, that's good.
And this is my father with John F. Kennedy in 1960.
Okay.
My father was running for Supreme Court judge, and Kennedy was running for president.
Wow.
And that's my father and me and my uncle, and we were all the mayors of Glen Cove. He was the mayor in the 50s, he was the mayor in the 70s, and I was the mayor in the 90s.
So politics is in your blood.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is Martin Luther King, and I always tell people that Martin Luther King didn't start with 1 million people on the Washington Mall. He started in church basements, trying to organize people, having to worry about getting beaten up when he went outside. And this is my wife and I on our honeymoon being blessed by Pope John Paul at the Vatican in Rome. And that's President Harry S. Truman, and that's Robert F. Kennedy, the father, the real one, and then Martin Luther King again, and that's Al Smith, who ran for governor of New York.
So interestingly, Donald Trump is taking oath on the same date of Martin Luther King's Day.
Yeah, his birthday, yeah. It's only happened a couple times before.
Yeah.
And this is a picture with me, different presidents. This is President George Bush, the father, Herbert Walker Bush.
Yeah.
And this is Barack Obama and I. And this is me with Joe Biden. And this is me with Bill Clinton. Yeah. And this is me with George Bush, the father. And that's another picture over there with Biden, and I put Trump's behind that picture.
So you've been witness to a lot of things in American politics.
Oh yeah. And then this is my family. This is my grandfather, who came to America in the early 1900s, and he joined the U.S. Army for World War I. And that's how he became a citizen. Then he went back to Italy, married my grandmother. She got pregnant. He came back to America, and a few years later, my father came over with my grandmother from Italy. And then my father was in the U.S. Army for World War I. This is my mother, was a nurse. She was Irish and English. And that's my Irish grandfather. He put the lights on top of the Empire State Building as an electrician.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know, he was a laborer. And that's my mother and father, and that's me when I was a little boy with my family, and with my brothers and sisters, and my family when I was young.
You're still young.
Yeah, well,
still fit. I met you in 2019, and you look like the same person.
Oh, this is a good thing I want you to see over here. This is my father's passport when he came from Italy in 1923. So you see that little baby there?
Yeah.
That's when my father came from Italy, along with my grandmother. That's her. And he,
that's how the passport used to be?
That's how the passport used to be. And this is a letter from the Congressman Fiorello LaGuardia. So there's an airport in New York called LaGuardia Airport. That's named after him. He was the mayor of New York City later on, but this is when he was a congressman. That's a letter to my grandfather in Harlem saying, because you joined the U.S. Army, you're a U.S. citizen, you can bring your father over to come visit from Italy.
Oh, wow.
So it's all very interesting. See, if you see my grandfather and my great-grandfather, he looks like a real Italian guy. Look at this guy.
Yeah. So from which part of Italy he belongs
to? If you drew a line from Naples to Bari, halfway across in the mountains is Potenza. It's down in the south. It's in the region called Basilicata. So they grew up in a very poor town. So that's my father when my father was a little boy.
सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल दबाएं ताकि कोई खबर रह न जाए।